Howdy everybody. Welcome to the first video in the fuselage series. So here's just a quick overview of parts that I completed here in this video. And I have started not to record me priming them. So, you don't get to see me paint the parts anymore because you've seen me do it like 17 different times. So priming is the same exact thing every single time. You deburr it, clean up the holes, scuff it up, paint it, let it dry, turn it over, paint it, let it dry, you're good. So I'm not going to show you guys that stuff anymore. My friend Brad's helping me again with the fuselage. These are the they're not the longerons, but they're the other those are the longerons that I'm using now actually, but the other ones were they're just like the support pieces that go in the back part of the fuselage there. And when you get your wheel, that little 3M aluminum deburring wheel, it's like 60 bucks. It's expensive, but it is extremely nice. And as you deburr stuff, it will get a groove in it. And then you just kind of let the parts just ride in the groove, and it cleans them up really nice. And they're really smooth, and it gets the sides and it gets the corners, so those grooves are kind of nice once they wear in there. You really don't even have to think about it after that. And then we're just deburring parts for the fuselage. Not a whole lot else going on here. So I'll tell you a joke. Did you hear that the Dalai Lama has been arrested for gambling? Apparently he likes to bet. My wife is shaking her head. That one was great. Oh, here you're going to see the infamous Vance WHANG method. So basically what you do is you put the piece of aluminum, and those big thick pieces, they actually do have plastic on them. Just FYI, it's clear plastic, it's not the blue stuff. So I was like, that's really weird. When Brad was doing it, he's like, hey, there's plastic on this. I was like, no, there's not. Well, yeah, there was. He was right. But here's the WHANG method they talk about. You put it in a vise where it's bent, and then you use a rubber mallet. You beat it until it's flat. I'm using my back riveting plate to make sure stuff's flat because it's perfectly flat. My table is flat, but it's made of wood, so it's not perfectly flat, and it has carpet on it, so it's really hard to tell, but the back rivet plate there works really well. And then I used my fat gut to help bend that metal a little bit against the table. So that is the infamous WHANG method. And then this next part is it's page 10-4 in the instructions. Those are the two parts that I'm going to make. There, Brad was finishing up that one part for me. But it has instructions. You get basically two pieces of angle aluminum, and you're supposed to make those parts out of them. And so we looked at it for a while, and we're like, okay, well, let's start drawing on the pieces and see what we can come up with. Because it gives you all the measurements you need. And you make them, draw on them, and then start cutting them out, and you pray that you're right. One thing I did find out, though, and this is a helpful tip, I like before building a plane, I like the black Sharpies, like the fine point black Sharpies. But building the plane on aluminum, you want the blue Sharpies, the fine point blue Sharpies. Those are the ones you want to draw on the metal with. It shows up, I don't know why, don't ask me why, but the blue shows up a ton better than the black does. So they do, like when you buy the kits, it comes with like the blue ones, and I was like, I already have black ones, I don't need to buy that. Used the black ones, and it was like, okay, yeah, I can see it. I did get a blue one, used it, and it was like, holy cow, it's like night and day. So it's much better to have the blue ones, in my opinion. If you disagree with me, tell me in the comments, and then we can agree to disagree. Something that is missing greatly in this world today is it's okay to disagree. And so this is just finishing up building, fabricating those two parts. the horizontal stab attach bar support angle, and the left and right rudder stop on page 4 of the fuselage in the instructions. And I didn't move the camera, but that's okay. All I'm doing there is cutting out my marks that I made and then deburring them and kind of grinding up to that particular point. And then this is marking out the rudder stops to cut them out. So I have my little ruler over there, and I'm using my marker to mark those. And you see that's a black pen. So I learned my lesson after these. So learn that lesson from me. Don't learn it yourself. It's easier to see the blue ones. But this is the rudder stops. They're kind of cut at weird, odd angles. But don't worry, they do give you enough material there. So when you cut it down the middle, because you actually do cut that piece in half, and the blade, there's enough for the blade thickness to go in there. So you don't have to worry about that. When you cut it down the middle, you cut it like the thickness of a bandsaw blade is accounted for in the measurements. So you should be good to go. At least my piece of aluminum was big enough that I could do that. And I'm assuming they are all that way. And at the time of recording this, the hubbub about the vans cracking in dimpled for the laser cut parts had not happened yet. But at the time of actually producing this, all of that hubbub has happened. And I will come out with a video on my thoughts, because it didn't really, I had 0 cracks. I have not seen a single crack. I did order a thing so I could look in the elevators and see like the spar from the the rear spar in the elevator and look at it and make sure. But when I was doing it, I did not see any cracks. So people that got cracks, I'm not saying I don't believe them. I'm just saying it didn't happen to me. So that's a good thing. In this last part of this video, it says to countersink those parts of the rudder stops, but it's right up against the angle, and so you can't use your regular countersink with the cage on it. And so I tried something a little bit odd. Is I took the countersink out of the cage. Well, I used it first for the ones that would fit, and then I took the countersink out of the cage, and I tried something crazy. And you guys can tell me if it's crazy or not. You'll see me with it here real quick. Is I take it out and I attach the countersink to my extension from my hand deburr thing, put it in my drill without anything on it, stick it in the hole, and have it go. And then I test it out by putting a rivet in the hole to make sure it was deep enough. Now, I am pretty sure that is not the right way to do that, but it worked, so I don't know what to say. As always, have fun. Talk to you later. See ya. Bye.